Hello, y'all. This is Evil Space Viking, and we're playing this game called Without Romance. Apparently, this weird symbol here means without, but it's apparently just a visual novel, and you're playing as, I believe, this girl who's quote unquote loveless, and it's got 19 reviews and relatively new on Steam, and it's free to play. So we're gonna see how it goes. I'm not doing any voices. An outsider would likely not believe it. I can still barely believe it myself. If I wake up and realize this is all just a dream, I won't be surprised. A fairy tale. That's the only way I can describe it. I loved those stories as a kid, fantasizing about being one of the many princesses, and now here I sit, enjoying the view with Prince Charming by my side, just like those stories end. Except, love is not our happy ending. Oh. Oh. There had once been a time I had dreams, a time I had dared to have hopes of my own life, to fly free and explore all the world had to offer. How childish I had been to think that I could escape to become more than I was. Yet as a child, my folly knew no bounds. My eyes had been glued to the pages of a solitary book. The vibrant colors faded from overuse, the shining white castles turned to dull gray. I had once asked my mother might be what it might be like to live in such a castle. She'd stopped, gently laid down her dishcloth, and turned to tell me a story. A realm of banquets, rooms aplenty, and best of all, the home of Prince Charming, a gallant gentleman, she said. Not that 9-year-old me knew what a gallant gentleman was. In order in in our city, the Yamamotos were as close to a fairy tale royalty as we could ever dream of finding. Their land was spacious, their house warm, and their stomachs full. Everything that ours was not. But how could we ever hope to compare? Their prestige was unmatched and their dedication to tradition unrivaled. Even their marriages couldn't escape their pedigree. What they sought? Only the finest. And yet somehow, someway, I'd planted a seed in the minds of my parents that their little girl had dreams of grandeur. To be clad in finery, to lead the life of a princess. It made sense then that my mother and father would put the wheels in motion to set me on a path to a throne for which I barely qualified. My merits? Simply that I was one of the most intelligent for my age. With near nothing to my name, there was no better way to pass the time than to commit whatever knowledge I could find to memory. Such was I had gone year after year with only the finest of grades. How convenient, then, that intellect sat at the top of Yamato's pecking order. I would only have sought beauty I only once thought that beauty would be key, but every family has their own tastes, and they were no different. ... The reception room is filled with girls my age, maybe a few a year older, but that isn't the biggest difference. Dressed in frills and vibrant colors, these girls chatted away. I can tell many already know each other. Maybe it's an aloofness I put on that keeps them away. The more likely it's the wait. But more likely it's the patched up clothes my mother had handed me earlier that day. Only the finest for a princess, she said, combing my hair. I should have known. I have no place in this ball. I have not the blessing of Cinderella. I hear he's quite handsome. He must be dashing. Really? My maid told me the young master was the quiet type, though that's nothing but gossip. The talk around me only cements my place here. What could I even offer these people but my own lips muttered treason? I glance around and shows the candidates forming their own groups as a hierarchy of extravagance forms. A few of us still stand alone, even one girl who would make a fine addition to any social circle. Her golden hair bobs as she bounces in excitement, even managing to bring a smile to my face. I take a deep breath. Nothing good comes from staying nervous, as my father might say. Between the heat of the room and the chilled drinks covering the tables, a mist covers my glasses. Taking them in hand, I wipe them on my dress. only to feel glares from around burning into my skin. That's nothing new. The set of doors across the room slide open. Their silence is a far cry from my own home. How nice that would be. Through the doorway walks a woman in a most gorgeous suit, but what catches my eye is the young boy walking behind her. After closing the doors behind him, the woman turns to address us. Her words barely register. Isn't it just polite lip service? Around me, the other girls seem to buzz with newfound excitement at the mention of a name. Ren. With a polite bow, the woman steps aside, offering the stage to a young boy that had entered with her. Though he's my age, he holds a poise that felt beyond his years. Once more, the platitudes wash over me, and I fix my eyes on the boy commanding the room. While nervous giggles flow throughout the guests, my mind keeps ticking over. His words aren't important. If anything, the whispers shooting through the room tell me all I need to know. Ren is the prince of this castle. His words not being important is kind of fucked up. I mean, it's like, I don't care what he's talking about. He could just be talking about mass genocide, but no, that's not important at all. And for the sake of my family, must be his princess. I must be his princess. I stayed on my mind for some reason. Ooh, a new image. I heave a long, exhausted sigh. What's with the long face now? Come on, smile. Ooh, Rachel, we have a character. Oh, whoa. What am I? Are we? Is this? Okay. Ma, you've taken too many pictures. Let's go already. Oh, it's my mom. Why did it just say mom, not Rachel? But it's your big day. She tinkers with the camera in her hand, careful as not to accidentally break it. Papa's dying to attend if it weren't for work. He asked me to take as many pictures instead. One is enough. Every other take is just the same face doing the same pose in front of the same gate. Jesus Christ. Then change it up. Yeah, right. Christ. Emo. Her eyes scan the area and lock onto a group of my classmates fooling around the schoolyard. She points at them with her pinky. Why her pinky? Oh, because she's holding the camera. Gotcha. Okay. She's holding the camera. Makes sense. There, do you see them? They're taking lots of pictures as well. I bet you they barely passed their classes. Jesus, mom's got shade. Meanwhile, Miss Valedictorian here thinks she deserves less. Dang. Shade. So much shade from mom. Jesus Christ. Grades and pictures are not related. Besides, they're making memories with their friends. Mine is just from commemoration. Call your friends then. I'd be happy to take their pictures too. Forget it. See? No, move to the left a little bit and give me a big smile. The shutter clicks yet again. I like that there was a shutter sound. It's not about the pictures I'm complaining about. It's just embarrassing standing here while my classmates whose names I already can't remember are passing by us. I'm glad Pa isn't here. There's no knowing how embarrassing this would be. This is a once-in-a-lifetime moment, and I know that I should let them indulge. They are proud of my achievements, I understand, and I'm happy that they are. They are the ones I did it for, after all. Perhaps if we'd taken pictures at home, I would have no qualms. My mother clicks her tongue and shakes the device. Darn, batteries are low already? That means it's time to go, at last. I should have brought a charger with me. Well, if you had the charger, you're still outside. Oh, I know. There's a restaurant that just opened nearby. Why don't we treat ourselves there? Don't you need to go to work? Not for another hour. Let's just head home so you can rest before you go. You haven't eaten anything since this morning. I'll cook something myself. We don't need to go to a restaurant for that. We don't have any money either. Of course No, we don't. We're already behind rent because of this gown and that camera. That's for your papa and I to worry about. Yeah, like fair. You, on the other hand, just enjoy today, okay? You're about to be part of the Yamato family. Money should be the least of your worries. Not until the marriage is fine. Oh, did I fucking win? Whatever that is. So prissy. How are you going to make the Yamato kid like you if you're like that? I don't really have to have him like me. She sighs, touching her cheek. I've always been worried you're trying to get yourself into something you don't truly understand. Like what? This entire thing. You don't seem to be seeing marriage in the way you should. I'm seeing it the way the Yamato. It's such an interesting name, and it throws me out. I want to call it Yamamoto, but that's not right. Yamatos do. I'll be fine. Honey, this is a huge commitment, and you seem to be taking it lightly. Marrying someone you don't have feelings for, that's. You can still kindly decline it and pursue something you want instead. But this is what I want. I've worked hard to get where we are now. I'm not backing out when it's already within reach. You've got enough things to worry about already. I can worry about myself now. She shows a dissatisfied frown, but chooses not to pry any further. You said you were going there tomorrow? Formally meeting them and introducing myself. The last time we met was during a big party 9 years ago, after all. I would be surprised if he still remembers me. I would love to accompany you there, but I'll be fine. It's just a visit. I might also visit them frequently now that school is over to know more about what's needed of me and all. You'll have time to come eventually. Somehow I've distracted her enough out of the idea of eating out. I'll pull on her arm and start walking home. I pull on her arm, not I'll. I. The following day comes. I find myself standing in front of Yamato's estate. Ooh, Ruth, new character. Thank you for coming all the way today, Madam Reeser. Guarantee she's like the servant or something. Looks fancy. An unfamiliar woman in a business suit lowers her head as she greets me at the door. I have not introduced myself, nor have I told them that I'll be visiting today, but she seems to be expecting me. I lower my head back at her. These formalities may be normal in this household, but I may not get used to. Oh, thank you. I'm here to meet Sir Rin Yamato. Of course, madam, right this way. She steps aside and points with her hand, inviting me in. I follow her to what looks like a waiting room, more spacious than our family's entire apartment. The doors open directly to the garden. In one corner of the room sits a guy busy with his pen. I recognize him right away, even though it's been half my life since we last met. Your fiancé has arrived, sir. Yeah, definitely servant person, whatever you want to call. Attendant, not servant, attendant. The guy looks up and immediately drops his work. He kindly points to the seat in front of him with his palm. Ah, yes, please take a seat. Of course. He's got emo hair. Risa, right? Yes, sir. That's how I respond. Yes, sir. I sit at the center of the table cautiously as he's just standing up to join me. Just call me Ren. We are already engaged, after all. Okay, Ren. May I get you something to drink, madam? Oh, I'm good, thank you. We'll take tea for now, Ruth. Right away, sir. Ruth lowers her head once again as she exits the room. I do like that they have little sounds in there. It adds something to it. We could have prepared something better had we known you were coming today. It's fine, don't let me. Nervous? Just a little bit out of place. You are part of the family now. Treat this household as your own and don't hesitate to ask for assistance whenever. I'll try, thank you. Oh, she had a smile for the first time. I glanced over the table and he was just at papers rustling in the wind and held down by a small piece of rock. Small piece of rock. Wouldn't that just be a rock? A piece of a rock is still a rock. You can break a rock in half and you get two rocks. They're not fractions of a rock. You seem to be in the middle of something. I'm sorry to disturb you. Nothing to be sorry about. Work has just piled up recently. I hope you don't mind the mess. Not at all. His kind tone and welcome attitude make me comfortable despite his rather impassive expression. It's really nice to meet you again. I heard you were the top of your class. That's admirable. That means a lot coming from you. She's still smiling. I am honored that you have chosen me among all other great candidates. It was my parents who did, but I trust their decisions. They're not around, unfortunately. No one knows when they'll return yet. I see. I should offer them my gratitude when I finally meet them. Were you homeschooled? That's correct. My parents prefer tutors to ensure that I'm being taught thoroughly in each subject. I see, that must be nice. I suppose I'm also the top of my class. That's one thing. And he cracks a slight smile with that playful comment. Ruth comes in carrying a pot in one hand and a stack of teacups in the other. She courteously places them on our table. Young master, you have another guest today. Should I let her in? Please do, as you wish. Rin pours himself a cup of tea as Ruth stands up and leaves. I'm a bit confused what I should do. Should I get going? No, it's fine. A few people have just been visiting to show their gratitude and blessings. It would be better if you were here with me for them to greet. Is that so? Why don't you move over to my side? Sure. I walk on my knees to take a seat right beside him as he requested. It's nerve-wracking being close to him and having to meet another candidate. Ruth, Ruth returns this time with the other guest behind her. She enters the room without waiting for an introduction. Hello, Rose. Hi, Ren. Hey, Ren. It's been a while. Ruth quietly closes the door behind this energetic girl as she makes herself comfortably seated across from us. Would you like some tea? Sounds lovely, but I'll pass. Mom and Dad couldn't make it today, but I wanted to come visit at all costs. That's understandable. How have you been? Absolutely great. And your work? Never ending. As always, then. They both giggle. She turns to me, finally acknowledges my existence. Ah, you must be Risa. I am. Nice to meet you. So cute. What a lucky guy you are, Ren. I can't help but notice how expressive Ren is right now. From the looks of it, they've been good friends for a while already. Maybe Ren just feels more comfortable with her around. Anyway, if I had to guess, other girls have paid you a visit already, and I'm here for the same reason. I'm really happy for you two. She takes a step back and prostrates herself before us. On behalf of my family, I would like to thank the Yamato family for the great opportunity I was given. It means a lot. I'm just about to take a bow back, and instinctively Ren gently taps me on the knee. The pleasure was ours, Rose. I appreciate your participation. Rose sits back up with a bright smile on her face. Have you guys decided what the wedding will be? It hasn't been decided yet. And with that,